Hello, and welcome to EKU. This presentation is for the Center for Student Accessibility. The mission of the EKU Center for Student Accessibility is to ensure that all students are provided equal access to the campus at large, the physical environment, and university-related programs and activities. We do this by providing academic and housing accommodations, advocacy, academic guidance, programming, and outreach. The Center for Student Accessibility has approximately 700 students registered with our office at any given time. Our students have a wide variety of conditions that include learning differences, ASD, brain injuries, mental health diagnoses, mobility limitations, visual impairments, are deaf or hard of hearing, or have other health conditions. This is by no means a complete list. If you're unsure if your or your student's health condition is covered by our office, please feel free to reach out to us. To start receiving services with the Center for Student Accessibility, you will need to register by completing a three-step process. The first step is to complete the application for services. This can be found by following the link on the slide or going to accessibility.eku.edu, select Applying for Services, and following the directions on that page. Next, you will need to submit documentation to our office. The documentation must support the need for the accommodation that you are requesting. There are several types of documentation we accept, but we will discuss this later. The final step is to set up an intake appointment with a CSA staff member. This part is extremely important. The intake appointment is where you and your coordinator will discuss what accommodations you will receive and what other resources may be helpful to you while attending EKU. Right now, we are conducting most intake meetings via Zoom, and you can also have a phone appointment. We recommend starting this process as soon as possible if you have not already done so. It is a lot less stressful to go ahead and get things in place prior to the beginning of the semester. If you are not able to do so, no worries. We accept new applications year-round. We have provided a list of possible accommodations. This list does not contain all of the accommodations we provide, it is just an overview. The most common accommodations we see are extended test time. This can be given online with the professor or in the CSA office. I highly advise all freshmen to take advantage of academic coaching. This is where we meet with students once a week to discuss anything that you may need help with. If you decide you don't need it, we can cancel your appointments, move to biweekly appointments, or as needed appointments. This just really helps with the transition to a new school, new environment, and a new way of life. Early registration, housing accommodations, and assistive technology are also very common among our students. More than ever, students with disabilities are using assistive technology as part of their regular accommodations, both in the classroom and online. Examples of assistive technology are text-to-speech software such as Read and Write. We have a campus license for this program so that all students can have access for free. Speech-to-text, most commonly used with note-taking. Visual technology. Students who need their tests or documents magnified can have access to Zoom Text or the Merlin in our office. And note-taking software such as Otter or Sonocent. Both of those programs can be found online, and both have a free trial that you can check out before coming to campus and deciding which one you may want to use. If you are in need of an American Sign Language interpreter, you can request one by using our online form. From the EKU homepage, simply search Interpreter Request Form. An interpreter for classes will be scheduled shortly after your intake appointment. This form is more for university-sponsored meetings or events. It is very important to try to complete this form as accurately as possible and as soon as possible. We ask for at least 48 hours notice. We have a limited amount of full-time staff interpreters on campus, and many times we're bringing people from outside of the Richmond area to work these events. This page shows the drop-down menu for the different types of requests we see. For students registered with our office, you will make the first selection if the event you are attending is required for class. Select the last option if the event is not required for class. Documentation. This area is usually where we see the most questions. Don't worry, we don't want to overwhelm you by cramming too much information into the slides, but we know that it will leave many with unanswered questions. The best way to know if your documentation will work for our office is to send it in and let us look at it. In general, documentation should be on official letterhead, provide a diagnosis that is covered by the Americans with Disabilities Act, and is signed and dated by the appropriately licensed professional. While IEPs can give us valuable information about the student, unless they have an evaluation attached to them, they do not always meet our criteria. Every school system does things differently, and many can provide everything that we need. We also see IEPs that come in, they're one page and do not even give a diagnosis. Again, the easiest way to see if your documentation meets our criteria is to submit it to our office. We have 3 different types of documentation guidelines. You can find these on our website, or you can wait until we send you a copy upon receiving your completed application. For learning disabilities, we require comprehensive testing that includes the listed domains. For a medical or health condition, documentation can be a letter from your healthcare or mental health provider. We need the letter to follow the guidelines. However, the most important thing is the diagnosis and the recommendations. Our suggestion is that you give your provider a copy of our guidelines so that they know exactly what to include. The third type of guidelines address the request for an emotional support animal. There is an extra form your provider must fill out, and you also need to provide vaccination records for your animal, if applicable. CSA maintains confidential records. We will discuss the need for accommodation with instructors, housing, or other campus entities, but we will not disclose the student's diagnosis or other confidential information. We also do not share information or discuss accommodations with parents or other outside parties without written permission from the student. If a student would like for us to be able to speak with a specific person about their accommodations, they can sign a release form for us to keep on file. If you have any questions or would like to set up an appointment with someone from our office, you can contact us. Email is typically the quickest way to get a response. If you do choose to call and we are not in the office at the time, please leave a message and we will get back to you as soon as possible. Our staff and their emails are listed below if there is a particular person you need to get a hold of. Thank you for your time, and we cannot wait to work with you in the fall.